Smiling eyes arrive before the lips ever do, like dawn slipping quietly into a closed room. They carry a softness words never manage, a gentle yes spoken without sound. In their curve lives 1,000 untold stories, folded like letters never sent. Smiling eyes are windows washed by hope, clear even after nights of rain. They glow with a warmth the sun envies, steady, patient, forgiving. When they meet another gaze, the world pauses to breathe. They remember childhood without trying, dusty roads, bare feet, careless laughter. They remember hands held tightly and hands that slipped away. Still, they choose to shine, as if pain were only a lesson, not a verdict. Smiling eyes know the language of silence. They speak when voices tremble, when throats close around grief. They say, "I see you," and somehow that is enough to keep a heart from breaking apart. In crowded rooms, smiling eyes find each other, two small lights recognizing the same sky. They nod across distances, sharing an unspoken understanding. No introductions are needed when souls already know the way. Smiling eyes hold patience like a prayer. They wait through storms of misunderstanding, through long seasons of almost. They do not rush love. They let it grow roots deep enough to survive winter. Sometimes smiling eyes hide exhaustion. Behind their glow lives a tired soul, bruised but unbowed. They smile not because life is easy, but because surrender would hurt more than standing again. Smiling eyes forgive quietly. They loosen the grip of old anger, release names carved too deeply in memory. They choose peace over proof, healing over victory, light over the comfort of darkness. There are smiles taught by manners, and smiles practiced for mirrors. But smiling eyes cannot lie. They betray truth with a shimmer, exposing joy, fear, or longing no matter how the lips behave. Smiling eyes fall in love slowly. They observe before they leap, learn the shape of another's sadness. When they finally open fully, they offer something rare, trust without conditions. They soften harsh days. A single glance can mend a morning, turn bitterness into tolerable silence. They remind us that beauty still exists, even when headlines scream despair and nights feel endless. Smiling eyes carry gratitude like a lamp. They thank the ordinary, warm tea, shared bread, a safe return home. They recognize miracles hidden inside routine. When smiling eyes cry, the tears shine brighter. Sorrow does not dim them. It deepens their color. They weep honestly, then dry themselves with courage. Smiling eyes age gracefully. Wrinkles gather like fine poetry, each line a verse of survival. Time does not steal their charm. It refines it, teaching gentleness where fire once lived. Children trust smiling eyes instinctively. They sense safety without explanation. They laugh freely under that gaze, unafraid of judgment. Animals do the same, leaning closer, calmer, understood. Smiling eyes have known loss. They have stood at silent doors, waited for footsteps that never returned. Yet they still choose to open, still choose to greet the world with a fragile, brave glow. They are not loud. They do not demand attention. But once noticed, they are impossible to forget. They leave warmth behind, like sunlight on winter skin. Smiling eyes teach resilience gently. They say, "You can hurt and still hope." They prove that softness is not weakness, but strength wearing a tender face. At night, smiling eyes dream deeply. They dream of healed tomorrows, of hands reaching back. Even nightmares retreat when met with that quiet light refusing to be extinguished. Smiling eyes recognize truth. They see through polished lies, through hollow promises. They search for sincerity, and when they find it, they glow brighter in response. Sometimes smiling eyes belong to strangers, met only for a moment. Yet that moment lingers, a small kindness echoing for years. We remember them on difficult days, proof that goodness crossed our path once. Smiling eyes carry love without possession. They do not cage what they cherish. They wish happiness even from afar, even when goodbye is the only option. Their smile remains, quietly wishing well. Smiling eyes are prayers answered silently. They restore faith in humanity, one glance at a time. They remind us that hearts, though wounded and weary, still know how to shine. And somewhere, right now, smiling eyes are opening to a new morning, choosing hope again. They do not know who needs them today, but they are ready, soft light prepared to heal. Smiling eyes walk gently through ordinary hours, turning seconds into something kinder. They pause to notice small mercies, a breeze easing the heat, a familiar voice calling a name, the comfort of simply being seen. Smiling eyes carry memories like lanterns. Some glow bright with laughter, others flicker with loss. Yet they keep them all because even pain once meant love, and love is never wasted. They have waited at crossroads of the heart, unsure which path would wound less. They chose courage anyway, stepping forward with quiet resolve, trusting that even wrong turns teach the soul its own map. Smiling eyes know loneliness well. They have sat beside empty chairs, felt the weight of unanswered messages. Still, they refuse to harden, believing connection will return when the heart stays open. In moments of doubt, smiling eyes soften first. They remind the mind to breathe, to loosen fear's tight grip. They whisper without sound, "You have survived before, you will survive again." Smiling eyes hold compassion effortlessly. They look at broken people and see unfinished stories, not failures. They offer patience instead of judgment, understanding instead of blame, because they, too, have cracked before. They shine brightest in quiet kindness. A seat offered without announcement, a hand steadying another's fall. No applause follows such acts, yet the eyes glow anyway, content in doing good unseen. Smiling eyes are loyal to hope. Even when promises crumble, even when prayers feel unanswered, they wait. Not passively, but faithfully, believing light always circles back. They have learned the art of letting go, releasing what no longer stays, blessing what must leave. There is sadness in that release, but also relief, space made for new joy to enter. Smiling eyes reflect love differently for everyone. For some, they sparkle with mischief, for others with calm assurance. They adapt without losing truth, meeting each soul where it stands, offering exactly what is needed. When smiling eyes close at night, they rest without bitterness. They forgive the day its rough edges, store lessons gently away. Tomorrow is welcomed, not feared, because resilience sleeps inside them. Smiling eyes understand time's patience. They no longer rush becoming whole. They accept growth as a slow unfolding, a flower opening when ready, not when demanded by the world. And if one day those smiling eyes dim, it will not be defeat. It will be rest, a pause before rising again, because light once learned is never truly forgotten. So when you meet smiling eyes, treat them kindly. They have traveled far through unseen storms to offer you that warmth. Honor the courage it took to keep shining. Smiling eyes wake before courage does, testing the morning with a careful glance. They stretch open slowly, as if asking the day a gentle question. Will you be kind today? And even when the answer is uncertain, they rise. They have learned to survive contradictions, to feel tired and hopeful at once, to grieve yesterday while believing in tomorrow. Smiling eyes hold both truths together, never demanding life be simple before choosing grace. They have stood in mirrors, studying reflections shaped by years. They do not search for perfection there, only honesty. Every scar becomes familiar, every line a quiet badge of endurance. Smiling eyes are often misunderstood. Some mistake their softness for ease, their calm for lack of depth. But behind that light is a sea, deep, restless, and brave, holding storms that never reach the shore. They know when to stay silent. Not every truth needs defense. Not every wound needs reopening. Smiling eyes choose peace deliberately, walking away from noise to protect what remains tender. They remember love carefully, not as ownership, not as regret, but as gratitude for once being chosen. Even endings are held with respect, because what was real deserves gentleness in memory. Smiling eyes learn the rhythm of loss, the way absence echoes loudest at first, then softens into a dull ache. They allow the ache its space, knowing grief is love searching for somewhere to rest. They trust small beginnings, a hesitant hello, a cautious dream. Smiling eyes nurture them patiently, watering hope drop by drop, until belief feels safe again to stand upright. Smiling eyes carry faith without spectacle. They do not announce it loudly, do not argue it fiercely. They live it quietly, in forgiveness offered, in kindness chosen when bitterness would be easier. Sometimes smiling eyes grow weary. The weight of understanding others can become heavy. Yet they still listen, still offer warmth, because empathy is the language they know best. Smiling eyes find beauty in survival, in waking up after hard nights, in breathing through uncertainty. They celebrate resilience softly, without banners or noise, just a steady inner glow. They are drawn to honesty. False brightness cannot fool them. They recognize truth by its calm presence, by the way it does not need to shout to be believed. Smiling eyes are generous with second chances. Not endlessly, not foolishly, but with wisdom earned from mistakes. They understand that growth is uneven, that hearts stumble before they learn how to stand. When smiling eyes finally rest, they do so without fear. They have given enough light, shared enough warmth. Whatever comes next, they have lived kindly, and that is enough. Smiling eyes carry quiet victories, the kind no one applauds. Days endured without giving up, nights survived without losing self. They celebrate these wins in silence, knowing survival itself is a triumph. They have learned the art of restraint. Not every battle deserves their light. Some conflicts are starved by calm. Some wounds heal faster when untouched. Smiling eyes choose wisely where to spend their glow. They notice what others rush past. The way evening light leans on walls, the tired kindness in a stranger's voice. Small details feel sacred to them, as if life leaves notes everywhere for those willing to read slowly. Smiling eyes understand distance. They know love does not always mean closeness. Sometimes it means wishing well from afar, praying quietly for another's peace, even when paths no longer meet in the same direction. They have forgiven themselves hardest of all. Old regrets knock softly at memory's door, but smiling eyes no longer panic. They answer with compassion, acknowledging the past without letting it rule the present. Smiling eyes hold promises gently. They do not chain the future with vows, yet they honor sincerity deeply. When they say, "I am here," it is not loud, but it is true. They have been overlooked before, their quiet nature mistaken for absence. Yet they do not dim to be noticed. They trust that the right hearts recognize light without being told where to look. Smiling eyes carry humility like fragrance, never overwhelming, never forced. They let others shine freely, finding joy in shared brightness, knowing light multiplies when it is not hoarded. They have learned to sit with uncertainty. Not everything needs answers today. Smiling eyes allow questions to breathe, to ripen into understanding. They are patient with mystery, believing clarity comes in its own time. Smiling eyes respect boundaries. They know love without limits can become a wound. So they offer care without invasion, support without control, presence without possession. They speak gently to broken hearts. No fixing, no preaching, just space, just warmth. Smiling eyes know that healing often begins with being heard without interruption. They grow stronger in storms, not by resisting the wind, but by bending without breaking. Each hardship polishes their shine, teaching resilience through lived experience. Smiling eyes carry the future quietly, not as a loud dream, but as a steady belief. They trust tomorrow because they have faced yesterday and still learned how to smile. And when smiling eyes meet another pair, equally tired, equally hopeful, there is recognition. No grand confession, just a shared silence that feels like home. Smiling eyes keep secrets the heart whispers, truths too tender for daylight. They guard them carefully, like fragile glass wrapped in cloth, revealed only when trust proves itself patient. They have known the ache of waiting, for messages, for answers, for change. Waiting taught them endurance, taught them how hope stretches without tearing completely. Smiling eyes learned to wait without hardening. They carry echoes of laughter long gone, still warm in memory's corners. Those echoes visit unexpectedly, softening lonely afternoons. Smiling eyes welcome them, grateful for proof that joy once lived and can again. They notice emotional weather, a pause too long, a smile too thin. Smiling eyes sense storms before thunder speaks. They offer shelter quietly, never asking for explanations, just standing close enough to matter. They have been hurt by honesty before, yet they refuse to abandon it. Smiling eyes still choose truth, even when it trembles. They believe sincerity, though risky, is kinder than beautiful lies. They understand endings deeply, how they rarely arrive clean or clear. Smiling eyes accept unfinished sentences, conversations left hanging in the air. They make peace with loose threads, trusting closure is sometimes internal. They know how to sit alone without feeling empty. Solitude becomes a companion, not a punishment. Smiling eyes turn inward then, listening to the quiet wisdom inside. They have felt envy flicker once or twice, but it never stayed long. Smiling eyes remember that every path holds its own unseen weight. They wish well for others, knowing comparison dims inner light. They recognize strength in vulnerability, in tears allowed to fall in asking for help. Smiling eyes admire courage that wears no armor, only honesty. They understand love is layered. It can be gentle and fierce, patient and demanding. Smiling eyes do not fear its complexity. They welcome depth, knowing shallow affection cannot satisfy a deep soul. They learn from silence as much as speech, from what is not said, from pauses heavy with meaning. Smiling eyes listen beyond words, finding truth between breaths. They protect joy fiercely, not with noise or denial, but with mindful choices. Smiling eyes step away from bitterness, choosing peace repeatedly, even when resentment feels justified. They carry a quiet faith in renewal, that hearts can soften again, that light returns after dimming. Smiling eyes trust cycles, night to dawn, lost to understanding. And if one day they finally close, having given all their warmth, the world will still remember. Because smiling eyes leave traces, in eased pain, in shared courage, in lives touched by their gentle glow.